பயாலஜி இன் தமிழ் கோர்வை சேனல் சார்பாக அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். என் பெயர் கண்ணதாசன். In this video I am going to teach you about artificial methods of vegetative reproduction, and this is part 3. It means third video under artificial methods of vegetative reproduction, in which we are going to learn exclusively about modern methods. It includes micropropagation, advantages and disadvantages of modern methods. And you know very well what am I going to ask you to do now at the beginning of the video. Please take the book. Point number 1. Go to the particular page. Point number 2, you please take the notebook. Point number 3, you take the pen. Please take the note or take the hints from the video for your future reference. It will be very useful for you at the time of revision. This video also going to be accompanied by one question paper, Google Doc Forms question paper, in which I wish all the students to get full mark. In order to get full mark, I want all the students to see the video fully, so that you are able to grasp all the concepts very clearly. And for one more question in that question paper, you will get the immediate result. Once you finished writing and just submit it, you will be getting the immediate result. And this video, usually biology in Tamil Korvai channel, all biology related video meant for all students. It means on one end there are students who are not having biology teacher at all, maybe. On other end, students may be having a very good excellent biology teacher. So these videos are able to satisfy all the category of students from one extreme to another extreme, and all the in between category of students. So this video is meant for each and every student who are studying 11th and 12th especially, and also preparing for NEET, very particularly preparing for NEET, TRB, and to some extent it will help, it will support 10th standard student also. And I want the student to see the video in a very serious mindset. It means some students switch on the video as if they are seeing the entertainment video, playing the games. Likewise, they see the video. This is educational video. You have to learn, you have to recollect the information at the time of your examination. So you must be very serious, students. You have to start with the mindset. Whatever the mindset you start the video, the same mindset will prevail till the end. Suppose you are seeing a video, I am casually just for fun, for a hobby or entertainment, I am seeing this video. If you say like that, the same mindset will prevail till the end. And at the end, if you ask yourself one question, what I learned so far, the answer would be, maybe I learned 1 or 2 points. But if you start the same video with a serious mindset, then at the end, at least 60% of the content you will be thorough. So I want you to have a proper mindset before entering into this video. And I hope you will like this video. If you like this video, press the like button, share it to your friends, all your friends, even to your juniors, and also comment on the video, and subscribe our biology in Tamil Korvai channel, and press the bell icon to receive the notification whenever we publish the video. Immediately it will come to you. Now let us enter into this video. Artificial methods of vegetative reproduction. I told you this is the third video, and in the description I gave the link for part 1 and part 2. In the same way, it is closely related to plant tissue culture. In plant tissue culture also, I published 4 videos, students, and for all those videos, I gave the link in the description. You can please go through it so that you will be very strong in the concept. What you are learning, right? Now, some of the milestones, points from the milestones in plant embryology, I took it, which is closely related to this topic. It can be asked, each botanist, each scientist can be asked in 1 mark question. First one, 1904, E. Hanning initiated embryo culture. 1964, S. Kuha and S. C. Mageshwari. This is the photograph of Mageshwari. S. C. Mageshwari raised haploids from Datura pollen grains. One more Mageshwari botanist we are going to learn. Please don't confuse these two Mageshwari scientists. Both of them are not ladies, both of them are uh, gents, male scientists, right? So S.C. Mageshwari raised haploids from Datura pollen grains. So the plant is Datura. Please remember that. 1991, E.S. Cohen and E.M. Meyerowitz proposed the ABC model. This is one model to describe the genetics of initiation and development of floral parts. The genetics of initiation and development of floral parts. How various floral parts develop at the beginning. That is what they explained. K.V. Krishnamurthy, 2015, summarized the molecular aspect of pre and post fertilization reproductive development in flowering plants. So that is his great work, and you won't believe his extraordinary work. I should say 117 publications are there. He published 117 books. That's the reason why I brought one first page of the one of the book by K.V. Krishnamurthy, the scientist. You see, his photograph is here, and this is, I told you already, one more Mageshwari we are going to learn. This is Panchanan Mageshwari. So it is given in the box in our book, not in the milestone, in a box. So the entire box content can be asked in a 3 mark question. So whenever I say this can be asked in 1 mark question, 2 mark question, please take note of it and also take note of what you have learnt there, so that it will be very useful at the time of revision. Professor P. Mageshwari was an eminent botanist who specialized in plant embryology, morphology and anatomy. In 1934, he became the Fellow of Indian Academy of Science. He published the book titled An Introduction to the Embryology of Angiosperms in 1950. You see, there are content to answer in 3 mark question. He established the International Society for Plant Morphologists. International Society for Plant Morphologists in the year 1951. Right? So these are the informations related to Panchanan Mageshwari. Right? Next. Modern methods, we are going to start now. Professor F.C. Stewart, 1932. This can be asked in 3 mark. Write note on the work of Professor F.C. Stewart. The question can be asked. Of Cornell University showed that the mature phloem parenchyma cells, take note of it, removed. So the question can be asked, phloem parenchyma cells, xylem parenchyma cells, sclerenchyma cells and sclerites. So except phloem parenchyma, what I told you, all the 3 are dead cells. So you should not be confused. So phloem parenchyma cells are living cells, right? So likewise the question can be twisted. Ultimately it is to filter the best student from the other student. It is not that other students are not preparing, all are preparing, but they want only the creamy student who are talented to that is answer such type of tricky questions. Removed from the carrot, this that is a steward, he removed the phloem parenchyma cells from the carrot, were placed in a suitable medium. He placed it in a suitable medium where it can grow. Okay, under controlled condition, could be stimulated to start dividing again to produce a new carrot plant. So these phloem parenchyma cells, you see, this is the cross section of the root. What is given in a plus mark like this? This is the xylem, this is the phloem. So phloem parenchyma present here. This is the living cell, and it is taken and it is kept in a, now it is taken as a explant. Okay, so it is kept in a nutritive medium, and it started growing into a tissue called as callus, and it is able to produce the new plant, new carrot plant. So this is the basic of modern methods of plant tissue culture or modern methods of vegetative propagation. Okay, so it is able to produce a new carrot plant. These cells were described as totipotent. Actually, this is not reproductive cell. Point to be noted. It is vegetative cell, students. Vegetative cell cannot reproduce. According to the basic law of reproduction, vegetative cell for growth and to perform all other activities, life activities, not reproduction. But here you see, vegetative cells are used for artificial propagation. So this ability of the vegetative cell is called as totipotency, right? Totipotency. According to me, it may be correct also. Total potency. Likewise, you split the word total potency. It means potential, it means ability of a cell to produce the entire plant is called as totipotency. Likewise, in biology, lot of technical terms are very simple to remember. From the word itself, you can write the answer. You need not learn from the that is a book, or from the that is once you read from the book, that's over. From the word itself, you can start answering all those answers, because the word itself carries the meaning. Okay, so what I am telling you may be correct or may not be correct, but that is different. But you can catch the answers. That is the point to be noted here. The genetic ability of the plant cell to produce the entire plant under suitable condition is said to be the totipotency. This characteristic feature of the cell is utilized, it is exploited, its ability is exploited in horticulture, forestry, and industries to propagate plants. Now, lot of industries are coming up to produce various biological materials, biological substances, biological food materials, various food materials. Okay, so that is the reason why uh, that is today the biology, studying biology is very useful in future, because many industries are going to be based on the biology only. Okay, so totipotency, the vegetative plant cell producing the entire new carrot plant, right? Now the total concept is given here, totipotency concept. From the carrot, explant is taken. Already I explained it with the help of my diagram. Okay, from the explant is kept in the nutrient medium, and it started growing. This is an unorganized, what? Unorganized, undifferentiated mass of cell is called as callus. After some treatment, that we learned it in the plant tissue culture, it becomes early embryo, late embryo, then it become a plantlet. You see, the test tube itself, it become a plantlet. Before your eyes, you are able to see one new plant is taking its birth. That is the interesting factor in relation to plant tissue culture. This is very interesting concept, wonderful concept, right? Next, plant tissue culture. The growth of plant tissue in special culture medium under suitable controlled condition under suitable controlled condition only. Okay, is known as plant tissue culture. The same concept from the carrot. The phloem parenchyma cells are removed, kept in the culture medium. Then you can transfer it in the conical flask also, and it should be plugged with the cotton, okay, or aluminum foil, so that no germ can enter. That is the reason why they are frequently mentioning suitable controlled condition. Okay, so this callus under some hormonal treatment, it becomes the entire new carrot plant. Okay, so this is the callus. You see, you cannot identify any root, stem, or leaf here. That's the reason why I am telling it is unorganized, undifferentiated mass of cells. So after some or 1 or 2 weeks, it started growing like this. Okay, this is also called as embryogenesis. Micropropagation. So under modern method, micropropagation is one of the subtitle. The regeneration, the word you see, regeneration. Regeneration, asexual reproduction we already learned. In zoology also we learned. Okay, in my videos you could see regeneration. Okay, of a whole plant from a single cell, tissue or small piece of vegetative structure through tissue culture. Through tissue culture. So micropropagation also takes place through tissue culture. Is called as micropropagation. So from a small piece of tissue or cell or small piece of vegetative part, the entire plant can be created, produced. That is called as regeneration. Even in zoology, you would have learnt, we learnt planaria. Planaria cut into three pieces. Hydra cut into three pieces. Each piece is able to produce its last part. But here, what is the matter? A small, only one cell may be enough to produce the entire plant. So this is called as micro propagation. You see, within the jars, within the glasswares, the plants are growing. You see, the culture medium. So this is what called as controlled environment. So all the plants are more or less genetically identical. More or less genetically identical. So the entire field, if you are taking these seeds to the farmland, the entire field will have some of that is similar plants. All plants are very similar because there is no variation at all. The variation can be produced only by sexual reproduction. You know very well. But this is a method of asexual reproduction, and moreover artificial propagation. They grown in a very controlled condition, so you no variation will be there. So the entire field, maybe 10 acres, 100 acres, okay, will be having the same similar type of plants, right? Next, this is one of the modern method used to propagate the plants. Very clear? To propagate the plants. That is the reason why the word micropropagation, tissue culture, it is the laboratory oriented. Whereas micropropagation, it is oriented towards the farmlands, towards the field, towards the agriculture, horticulture, like that. That's the reason why they are using the word modern methods used to propagate. That is the reason why propagation. Okay, so we will be studying about it in the unit 8, they are telling micropropagation. Advantages of modern methods. This can be asked in one 5-mark question, students. Please take note of it. There are some 8 points, I think so, right? 7 or 8 points, maybe. First point is tissue culture can be carried out in any season. You see here, all the 3 factors I brought it in a single picture. If it is a normal seed develops into a normal plant and it reproduces and produce the seeds. Okay, it takes a very long time, maybe 2 seasons, imagine. By tissue culture methods, what happened? Modern methods, right? So it can produce within one season itself, it complete its first generation, G1, generation 1. In the next season, generation 2, and it is not seasonally affected. But in a normal seeds developing into a new plant, in a conventional method, we should say, the conventional methods, so there is no possibility of shortening their lifespan, and we cannot the plants cannot adjust between the 2 seasons. In one season only it can grow, means rainy season example, rainy season alone it can grow, but another season it cannot grow. But in through tissue culture we are able to produce the plants which can grow in any season. That is what they are telling here. In any season to produce the plants. So it is producing season 1, G1, first generation is over. G2, second generation is over in the second season. So that is the benefit. So it is shortening the time duration. Number 2, it can be grown in any season. And also, all the plants are genetically identical. Genetically identical. So the yielding can be assured. That is the important factor here. Okay, with respect to that is evolution, variation is very important. But with respect to productivity from a farmland, these genetically identical plants are very important because we are able to assure this much amount of yield we are able to get. Okay, so this is the total plant tissue culture. You see, taking the that is cells from or tissue from the leaf kept in the culture medium, it become callus. Callus is separated and single cells are cultured. From the callus, single cells are cultured. This is also possible, students, that we are going to learn elaborately in plant tissue culture. So each cell is going to produce the new plant. So this is the fundamental. Point number 2, under advantages, plant with the desired characteristics can be multiplied rapidly in short duration. That is what I told you. Season 1, one generation is over. Season 2, second generation is also over. Very clear. So multiplied very rapidly. So we are able to produce very that is a large amount of food or any product from the plants, right? Plant produced or genetically identical, that also I told you. All these 3 points in the first diagram itself we discussed. Fourth point, you see, the plants which do not produce viable seeds, that is able seeds, capable seeds, and seeds that are difficult to germinate can be propagated by tissue culture. We are able to propagate from those seeds. Normal seed produce the normal plant. Even abnormal seeds, that is the plants are very, the seeds are not in a good condition. From those seeds also, through tissue culture, we are able to produce the one healthy plant. Point to be noted. So the seed banks are there. You see, seed banks are there to save all the seeds, right? So artificial seeds also can be produced, students. You see, artificial seeds, somatic embryos, artificial endosperm, artificial seed coat, all are artificial. Very clear? So these are called as artificial seeds. All these pictures are given in the plant tissue culture. Fifth one, rare and endangered plants can be propagated. Rare and endangered plants. This is the last plant, imagine. Last plant available, endangered species. Okay, so from this plant also, with the help of tissue culture, plant tissue culture, we are able to produce more number of plants. So that is the point to be noted here. The disease-free plant can be produced by meristem culture. This is the shoot tip apical meristem. You see, shoot tip apical meristem. Okay, shoot meristem tip culture is the method to produce the virus-free plants because the shoot meristem tip is always free from viruses. This is always free from viruses. So that means even before sowing, the seeds are subjected for certain treatment so that it get rid of from microorganisms, normal seeds, conventional seeds. But if you are taking from it from the meristem, very clear, the meristem is free from virus. So naturally, the plant which are growing out of this meristem, apical meristem, also free from viruses. So virus-free culture is possible. So disease-free plants can be produced. Cells can be, this is the seventh point, cells can be genetically modified. This is a very interesting factor. So most of the research is going towards this direction today. When we are able to produce, that is from a single cell, vegetative cell, we are able to produce the whole plant. The scientists are asking, why don't we introduce the new gene, desirable gene into that particular cell so that that character will be expressed. You see, assume we are taking the gene, the color from the beetroot, the gene which is responsible to produce that is a beetroot color can be taken and it is that is inserted into the cells of the carrot and it is subjected for tissue culture and it is producing a new plant. The carrot color become the pink color or the color of the beetroot. This may be one of the desirable trait with respect to the commercial viewpoint. Most of the customers may like it. This color of carrot also. Very clear. So naturally, this will appeal the people to do research and to produce such type of carrot because they want to exploit the market. That is the ultimate. That is the benefit they can get. Okay. So that is the reason why I am telling. With respect to industrial point of view, the growth in biology, especially biotechnology, plant tissue culture, genetic engineering is sky is the limit, student. So you please feel confident while learning biology. Disadvantages also there. It can be asked in 3 mark. It is labor intensive and requires skilled workers. Skilled workers. So they must have some skill. They must have some knowledge. So naturally, they must acquire some knowledge through education. So this is one of the disadvantage because conventional methods does not require such type of skilled persons. Number 2, sterile conditions required. So this is the laminar airflow chamber. The entire research, the entire plant tissue culture should be done within the laminar airflow chamber, where you see the air enters in one window, right, and exit in another window. So more or less, the airflow will be parallel to each other. Very clear. So here the germ development will be very less. That is pathogen development will be very less. But also the entire laboratory will be in a highly controlled condition, right? 3-tier protection, 2-tier protection. Likewise, they have their own technical terms to define the protection with respect to the laboratories. Okay, so sterile condition must be maintained, which adds to the cost. So naturally, the product that we are buying, which is coming from propagation means micro propagation means naturally it will be cost very high. Since the clones are genetically identical, the entire crop is susceptible to new diseases or changes in environmental condition will wipe out the species. So all are genetically identical. So if a particular disease is affecting, naturally there is no way even a single plant can escape from the particular pathogen, particular disease causing agent, because all of them are genetically uniform. So if it is having some variation, means they will have, one may have disease resistant, another may not have disease resistant. So 50% of the plants at least will produce the good yield. Okay, so there won't be any loss at all. Okay, but here the entire field, entire farmland will be wiped out. Okay, all plants will be wiped out from the farmland. So no yield will be there. So that is one of the disadvantage. Sometimes callus undergo genetical change also. Callus can undergo genetical change. It may produce one undesirable character for commercial use. Suppose this is the carrot you imagine. Will you buy it? Nobody can buy. Nobody will buy it. Suppose previously I told you that gene transferred from beetroot, it become beetroot color. Yes, surely. Okay, so 50% of the people will like this color and 50% of the people will that color. Okay, so but nobody will like this color. So such type of possibilities are also there. So this is one of the disadvantage. So there are 4 disadvantage, students. So it can be asked in the 3 mark question. Now there is one box information under asexual reproduction with respect to Eichhornia. I would like to stress upon one motivational point: connect concepts. When I am connecting the concept, I am giving lot of information. You have to take note of it, right? So connect concept with respect to Eichhornia, right? First information about Eichhornia given in the first lesson itself in the box. Do you know? It is scourge. Scourge means causes great trouble and suffering. Okay, that is the meaning of scourge of water bodies. Water hyacinth, Iconia, crassipus is an invasive weed on water bodies. Like invasive means it is uh, establishing itself, reproducing very fast, establishing itself very fast. Within 1 week, the entire pond or lake will be covered by only Iconia. No other plant you could see from the long distance. To that extent, it creates the effect. So invasive weed, that is the meaning, and it is able to very quickly that is spread to nearby ponds, nearby lakes. Even on small vegetative part, root, stem, immediately it can start growing. So that is the reason why they are using the term called as invasive. Invasive weed on water bodies like ponds, lakes, reservoirs. It is popularly called as terror of Bengal. Actually, it is imported from other countries that we are going to learn. Okay, I hope it is from South America or South Africa. Okay, between these two, anyone is correct. Okay, so terror of Bengal. Okay, terror of Bengal. It is imported for its ornamental purpose because its flowers are so beautiful. So it can be grown in aquatic bodies in artificial areas. Okay, that is the reason why it is brought, but it has become terror of Bengal because of its invasive nature. So it spread rapidly through offset. It rapidly through offset all over the water body and deplete the dissolved oxygen. Once it depletes the dissolved oxygen, no organism can survive in the aquatic environment. Okay, so that's the reason why it is called as terror of Bengal. Why Iconia crassipus is called as terror of Bengal? Justify this statement. Likewise, the questions can be asked. In the same lesson, in the first lesson itself, hydrophily. Though there are a number of aquatic plants, only in few plants. So likewise, I am connecting at various places wherever the Iconia is present, so that you will not have any confusion when you are attending NEET examination or TRB examination. You will be very clear. Yes, Iconia. These are the informations. Okay. Though there are a number of aquatic plants, only in few plants pollination take place by water. In water plant, Iconia itself water plant, aquatic plant, Iconia and water lily, pollination not taking place through that is water, but take place through wind or by insects. So for such a wonderful information you are getting now. Next, from chapter 6, principles of ecology, examples of tolerance to toxicity, right? Which one is having tolerance to toxicity? Iconia. Rice also, students. Rice and Iconia, water hyacinth tolerate cadmium by binding it to their proteins. So cadmium, that is their proteins are binding with the cadmium. Okay, it means the protein from rice and Iconia plant binding with the cadmium, so that the cadmium will not be there in the soil as a pollutant. It will be binding with the protein of the plants. So it will be with the plant bodies. These plants otherwise can also be used to remove cadmium from contaminated soil. This is known as phytoremediation. This is known as phytoremediation. So in the principles of ecology, this can be asked. Okay, define phytoremediation. Give examples. The same principles of ecology, free floating hydrophytes. Okay, for its example is given here. You see Iconia, Pistia, and Wolffia. Okay, they remain contact. You see, free floating means they remain contact with water, air, but not with the soil. Okay, so this is the Iconia plant. Okay, and it is having, you see, the swollen petiole. We are going to study about it. The same principles of ecology, morphological adaptation. For morphological adaptation, it is referred in root. The root caps are replaced. Root caps are replaced. Okay, by root pockets. Example, Iconia. So Iconia will not be having root cap, but it will be having root pockets. In leaves of Iconia and Trappa, petioles become swollen and spongy. You see, swollen and spongy petioles. Which part is becoming spongy and swollen? Question can be asked. Okay, next. But in chapter 7, ecosystem, it is referred as producers. Producers of floating plants, Azolla, Salvia, Pistia, Ulpia and Iconia constitute. These are all constitute part of the producers of a pond ecosystem. Part of that word. Okay, these are the plants are not only producers, but this is part of the producers. Okay, so that is the point to be noted. In chapter 8, environmental issues, invasive species, Iconia crassipus. It is an invasive weed native of South America. I told you, no? South America. It was introduced as aquatic ornamental plant, which grows faster throughout the year. Its widespread growth is a major cause of biodiversity loss. Biodiversity loss, because in every pond it is growing, many organisms are dying. So what one fine time there won't be any there is individuals organisms in a particular species. So it causes there is extinction of a particular species, not only in India but also worldwide. Okay, so this is the end of this video, students. I hope you would have liked this video, and you please wait for 1 or 2 days to receive the question paper, but before that you please be thorough. Okay, and I always that is the link, question paper link in the video and the video link in the question paper, right, within 1 or 2 days. And please mention your email and also your mobile number, so that you are able to, or we are able to communicate for any subject reason. Okay, thank you for watching. Thank you.